Hook, Jackson Turning. Most kids today think of the 70s as the decade before the 80s, but the 70s had more to contribute to history and culture than some might think. So let's take a look at this overlooked decade. Component 1, Juan Jimenez.
Richard Nixon, 37th president, was put into office in 1969, resigns from office in 1974, being the only president in U.S. history to do so. One event leading to the resignation of President Nixon was the Watergate scandal, where 5 men were apprehended by law enforcement in the office of the Democratic National Committee located in the Watergate buildings of Washington, D.C. But as officials investigated further, they found the 5 men to have connections with President Nixon and his re-election campaign. These men were caught with wiretapping equipment along with stolen documents. Afterwards, President Nixon took steps to cover up the crime, but in the end, as his role within the Watergate scandal came to light, President Nixon resigned from his presidency on August 9, 1974. President Nixon and his involvement in the Watergate scandal changed U.S. politics, as the scandal led to United States citizens questioning more and more about their leader and his decisions, as well as thinking more about who should be best fit to be in office as President of these United States.
Component 2, Ross Cowden. That was a clip of Voyager 1 recording solar winds. NASA sent Voyager 2, which was launched on August 22, 1977, to further explore our solar system, specifically Jupiter and Saturn. Voyager 1 was sent later that year, September 5, 1977, to interstellar space, to further expand our horizons and see what is beyond our solar system. This event is significant because it advanced our knowledge of our solar system and beyond. It shows how much we have yet to explore and how the human race has to advance. The following recording is one of the soundtracks on the Golden Record, which was placed on the spacecraft in case of contact with intelligent extraterrestrial life, and one of which that consisted of all greetings throughout Earth's cultures.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Hola y saludos a todos. धरती के वासियों की ओर से नमस्कार.
Namaskar. Bishe Shanti Hok.
Hartelijke groeten aan iedereen.
Shalom.
تحياتنا للأصدقاء في النجوم. يا ليت يجمعنا الزمان.
Next, we also have Ed Stone talking about how Voyager opened our eyes to the solar system.
I think the main legacy of Voyager is to, in fact, have opened up our solar system in a way which was not possible before the space age. It revealed all of our neighbors in the solar system and showed us how much there was to learn and how diverse the bodies are that share the solar system with our own planet Earth.
Component 3, Fives Michelle. The band Pink Floyd included members Roger Waters, David Gilmour, Sid Barnett, Nick Mason, Richard Wright, and Bob Close. They shaped the 70s and the culture in this time, and they often talked about controversial things and the idea of freedom, true freedom. They started in 1965 and played in 1994 for the last time. Pink Floyd was an American band and performed all over the United States and many more countries. Pink Floyd was one of those bands everyone had heard. It was a big deal if you went to their concerts. They changed the culture of the 70s, and the reason they were so popular is because they often talked about changing things, making a difference, and resisting the man. This was a message that a lot of kids and young people could get behind, and often felt the same as the songs they were listening to. The band, the Grateful Dead, included members Jerry Garcia, Bob Weir, Phil Lesh, and Rob McKernan. They were some of the mean members of the Grateful Dead and would go on to change the culture of the United States. Fans of the Grateful Dead would often refer to themselves as deadheads and often have very wild ideas about how to live. They would often travel together and have an overall hippie mentality when interacting with each other. They started their band in 1969 and would go on to perform all the way through the 70s, and the band would end in 1996. This would make an end of an era for hippies and others who followed the dead. The band Aerosmith included members Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, Brad Whitford, Tom Hamilton, Joey Kramer, Ray Tabano, Jimmy Crespo, and Rick DeFay. They were a key in changing the youth of the time and informing the culture of the 70s. There are 3 bands that would make an unprecedented number of fans and would go on in the world with the messages that they sung about in their songs. Component 4, Jackson Turning. The fashion of the 70s was characterized by clashes of style and color, but also clashes between stylists and the people, tradition and the future. There are so many twists and turns that to recount them all would take more time than we have. An essential feature to grasp is that fashion designers would create different styles that would be what is sold in stores. However, many times the people would disagree with what the fashion industry proper dictated as fashionable, and instead created their own styles. They even mixed and matched different older styles to express themselves as unique individuals. This changed professional fashion designers' minds about fashion, and they decided to follow the public preferences. These designers include Yves Saint Laurent and Oscar de la Renta. The early 70s was characterized by a feeling of dissent, partially due to the Vietnam War. People used fashion to express themselves, and so analyzing trends in fashion can tell us about people's mindset, opinions, style, assumptions, and more. Artistic design explanation, Jackson Turning. When designing our mural, we wanted to represent the contradictory themes that were present in the 70s. We used color schemes that had contrast, like the earth, bright colors, and space, dark colors. We showed off the negative aspects, an ominous Nixon floating to the side, and positive aspects, musical developments, Voyager, and Star Wars. Things feel odd and mismatched, with a slightly psychedelic vibe. The mural is trying to convey how the 70s had many escapist tendencies, such as music and movies, while dark threats loomed at the back of people's minds. Yet progress was still made, and hope was not forgotten. It reflects on many aspects of a gone but not forgotten decade. Thank you for listening.